last big thing that we have here in this chapter 1 are key nutritional concepts. Key nutritional concepts, there are 6 of them, okay? There are 6 of them. These are the 6. Oops, okay? These are the 6. These also make a good essay type question on exam. Okay? These are concepts that really we're going to be talking about throughout the entire semester. So these are going to be concepts that you're going to be coming back to and discussing on various different exams. Concept 1, most foods are a mixture of nutrients. Well, duh. When you eat a piece of chicken, there's a little bit of carb, there's a little bit of fat, there's a little bit more protein, obviously. Okay? But all foods are a mixture of all these various different nutrients, vitamins, minerals, all that nonsense. Variety, moderation, and balance can help ensure a diet's nutritional adequacy. Yeah, no duh. If you consume only one type of food all the time and it's deficient in something, in a couple different, in a couple months, you could develop a pretty severe nutritional deficit in something. So obviously, variety. Food is the best source of nutrients. I'll explain all these later. Foods and the nutrients that contain are not cure-alls. That's kind of, yeah, they're not cure-alls. There's no holy nutrient. Malnutrition includes overnutrition as well as undernutrition, some toxicity issues. Most people forget that. And nutrition is a dynamic science. So let's dive into these here. Okay. Concept 1, most foods are mixtures of nutrients. Okay. All foods are going to have some nutritional value. Some are just slightly healthier than others. Broccoli. Lean cuts of meat. Okay. Those are going to be healthier choices than a higher fat content of meat. Or non-green leafy vegetables. They just have a lot more nutrients in it, those green leafy vegetables, compared to some of the other ones. But all food has some kind of nutritional value. Green leafy vegetables. Broccoli would be an example of a green vegetable. Lean cuts of meat, whole grains. These are going to be very nutrient dense foods. They have, as the name implies, a lot of nutrients. And they don't have a whole hell of a lot of calories associated with them. If you compare a nutrient-dense food to an energy-dense food, energy-dense foods have a lot of energy per serving. Okay? They don't necessarily have potentially a lot of nutrients in them. Fatty foods are very energy dense. But you don't have to consume a whole heck of a lot of fatty foods. You still need fats in your diet. Yep, still need fats. But if we were to compare an energy dense food serving size with a nutrient dense food size, you can see the serving sizes are way different. 400 kilocalories of strawberries, 400 kilocalorie donut. That's a small donut. That's a real small donut. You can see how much more food is there. So if you're consuming more nutrient dense foods, you can consume a lot greater amount. It's going to fill you up a lot more. Whereas that little donut, man, that ain't going to do nothing. I could eat like 16 of those. That serving size there, guys, is 100 strawberries equals that donut. That's a lot of strawberries. My oldest would like dive into that and eat all of 100 strawberries and then probably still eat the donut too. He's a pit. All right. But that's a lot. So when you're deciding the foods that you want to consume a lot more nutrient dense foods, broccolis, green leafy vegetables, lean cuts of meat, those type of things. Obviously, you want to avoid these things. These are things that we don't avoid. Okay. Snack chips, sugar sweetened drinks, alcoholic drinks. These are things that we consume a heck of a lot in excess. And we do a very easy job of getting all this in our diet. These are the things that we want to limit, but these are the things that we do really good at getting in our diet. And it's excessive. Okay? They're empty calories. They don't have really anything of use for us. A little bit of a snack is not bad. Okay? I get it. I'm a psychopath. I get it. Okay? But, what's the serving size of snack chips? 7 chips? Who eats 7 chips in here? Nobody. Someone's going to say, I do. And I'm going to say, you're a liar. Okay? 7 chips. Who can eat 7 chips? I try sometimes to only eat 7 chips. Like, my youngest likes some Doritos, so we'll do a few Doritos with dinner. Oh, my God. I could eat that whole bag. Okay? But I don't. I try to be good. I know. It's no fun. Concept number 2, variety. My diet's very repetitive. If you're somebody who, competes, it may not have a lot of variety. It may be very repetitive. Okay. And that's okay, as long as it's healthier choices, right? Salmon, chicken, lean beef type of things. Right? That's okay. But you do want a variety, because different foods have a slightly different nutritional profile. They're going to be higher in certain other vitamins than others, higher in certain minerals than others. Okay? So that's why you do want to have a little bit of variety. Okay? So I'd be the first to admit it. My diet, doesn't have a whole hell of a lot of variety. I ate salmon, I ate chicken. There you go. As my protein sources. Okay? So whey protein powder. Okay? And that's pretty much every day. Okay? So I don't have a whole heck of a lot of variety. So I get it. It can be difficult. Okay? But you want to have foods of various different food groups. And from that standpoint, I do have variety. I have fruits, I have vegetables, I have different types of protein sources. Okay? Different types of calcium sources. Okay? So from that standpoint, I got it covered. Moderation, you want to eat a reasonable amount of each food. Obviously, portion size is a huge thing, and that's where this moderation comes into effect. Okay? Reasonable amount. Okay? What's a reasonable amount? 6 to 8 ounces, okay, of a lean meat. That's a reasonable amount, 6 ounces. It's a serving size. Okay? Is that your serving size? Do you measure everything out? Again, I'm the psychopath. I measure everything out. Okay? And a lot of people eat a heck of a lot more than 6 ounces. Balance. Calories in, calories out. I am not a specific type of diet type of guy. Right? Calories in, calories out. If you're consuming more calories than you're exerting effort, then you're going to gain weight. If you're bringing in less calories than what you're giving off as calories, exercise-wise, you're going to lose weight. Okay? So balance. Okay? Understanding your foods, how much calories those foods are providing, and are you doing enough activity to burn off those calories? Okay, that's where balance comes in. Here's the food plate, and we'll talk about the food plate, I think, next chapter, I believe. I can't remember, chapter 2 or chapter 3. But this is kind of what it looks like when it comes to variety: fruits, vegetables, proteins, grains. Oh, and dairy. Okay, dairy's there because of bone health. Okay, but you can get other sources of calcium there. All right, but do you have all of these things? If you have all of these things, fantastic. You're doing a great job of variety: fruits, vegetables, grains, protein. I grains every morning. Okay, couscous, my higher carb days. Okay, so there you go, fantastic. ChooseMyPlate.gov. Right here's a link. It's there's a buttload of stuff there if you want to tool around or whatnot. There used to be a lot more stuff there, but for whatever reason, they've truncated a lot of that free stuff that was on that site. They had free food trackers, all sorts of fun, cool stuff that you can do. There's a bunch of food trackers that are out there now that you've probably utilized, but still, if you want to tool around there, gives you a lot of great ideas and whatnot. This is just kind of showing you, different profiles. Here you can kind of see milk, and I can't remember, this is some kind of soft drink. And you can kind of see just the difference there, even though they're the same, serving size, you can see the difference in kilocalories. Okay, not a whole heck of a lot, but a little bit less with milk compared to whatever this sugar sweetened drink is over here. But you can see the nutritional profile is just vastly different here. And that's what we're talking about with getting variety and having more nutritionist laden choices for foods. Okay, I'm sure this soda tastes fantastic. Okay, but from providing you with some nutrients, ain't doing jack squat. Concept number 3: food is the best source of nutrients. Yeah. What does this mean? This means if you are relying on a meal replacement bar for your nutrients, that's not the best source. Okay, that's what this is saying. Okay? I always say eat whole food. Okay, someone's like, well, I don't have enough money to go to Whole Foods and buy. I'm like, no. Eat real food. If you just eat real food grown from the ground, it's going to be reliable, economical, and have all those fantastic phytochemicals in it. It's the best source of nutrients. Okay. Now, can you supplement a little bit? Yeah. Okay. You can have a protein shake. Fantastic. If you consume a protein shake, that just means you have to do less chewing when it comes to getting all your protein in for the day. And if this is the case, where you're just supplementing here and there with a little bar or a protein shake, fantastic. But if that's your primary source for your nutrients, that is what we're talking about here. So food is the best source of nutrients. I know it sounds crazy to say, but it is. Okay? Why else would you not want to utilize prepackaged foods all the time when it comes to a supplement anyway? It's because of this thing right here. Okay? They generally don't undergo rigorous testing, so sometimes there can be some crap in it that can do harm to you. And certain manufacturers aren't really the most reliable on being truthful when they put on their label what is and what is not in some of those supplements. We'll talk about this later, but when it comes to food is the best source, range also plays a part with this. More is not always better. Okay? More is not, but there is a physiological safe dose. Okay? You get above that, that's referred to as the upper level limit, disease can happen. You get below that physiological safe dose, now we're in a deficit. Now we can have disease manifest. Okay. If we want to function optimally, you want to stay within that safe zone. And we'll talk about all these various different zones in the next couple chapters here. Okay. But more is not always better. And we'll talk about this a heck of a lot more, especially when it comes to some of the vitamins and minerals. Okay. Especially like magnesium is a great example. Magnesium take helps the muscles relax. Oh, it's fantastic. Okay, you're waking up with some cramps. Okay, take some magnesium, and that kind of helps, lessen that cramping up in the middle of the night. And you'd be like, oh, man, I'm just really sore and tired. I've been working out, lifting. I'll take, if the dose was 2 and I felt good, I'm going to take 4. Now we're not in the safe dose range. Okay. And when you take a lot of magnesium, does anybody know what happens? You get diarrhea. And that's not fun unless you're willing to, sit on the pot a lot and lose some weight that way. Okay. But that's not fun. All right. I have unfortunately done that before. Went to go visit mom years and years ago. Slept on an awful bed. Oh my God, woke up, couldn't move. So, I go to meet some friends out. I wanted to get out. Liquid magnesium, took a little bit. I felt good. I'm like, I'm going to chug the damn bottle. And then yada, yada, yada. I was on the pot the whole time. Not fun. Now that I've painted that picture, most foods not contain toxic levels of vitamins and minerals. It is the mega dose. Okay. It is the over supplementation. This is where you read an article that says if you consume a vast amount of carrots, you are not going to develop certain types of cancers. Your grandmama has this type of cancer. Like, I don't want, I'm going to eat buttloads of this carrot. Now we're getting into an unsafe dose. And then what does that do? Well, that's not going to cause you too much grief. Your skin will turn orange a little bit. You'll look funny, you'll look weird, but obviously not a good example of it. But there are a lot of different things that people will megadose on. Vitamins, minerals are the most common thing that people megadose on. And we'll talk about some of that idiotic stuff later on in the semester. Foods are not cure-alls. Okay? And diet is only one aspect. Okay? If you have a nice diet, that's fantastic. Right? But there's diet, there's exercise. We'll talk about ways in which, losing weight later in the semester. And we'll talk about medications. There's a number of medications out there, like 50 some. And when you read the fine print on all of them, it says in conjunction with diet and exercise. Just start doing it now. Okay? Just start doing it now. There are a number of these things that are right here. They're referred to as functional foods. These are things where there's a nutrient that's been modified, added in excess to help make up for basically poor eating habits. We have a number of foods that are, fortified, enriched, because the process of making some of these foods are lost. Some of these nutrients are lost during the process of making them. So we can put them back in through enrichment. We can add them in because they were never there. Okay. So there are a number of foods that are kind of this functional food type of concept. And that's perfectly fine. Okay. But again, this type of food right here is not bad at all. And I'm not saying it is. Okay. But if you make slightly better choices, you don't necessarily have to have a much more expensive version of peanut butter to get some of these great, fantastic omega-3s. There are a number of special diets here. And again, we'll talk about some diets later on in the semester. I'm not a huge diet proponent, but there are a number of factors that we have to think about when we get into this concept of diet, specialized diet, nutritional therapy, however you want to slice and dice it here. It depends on your current health status, for one. Okay. In the commercials, ask your doctor if your heart's healthy enough for sex. If you have to ask, you're probably not. Okay. So current health status plays a huge part in ultimately deciding what type of diet one should incorporate into their lifestyle. Okay. Occupation, eating at certain times, sometimes is necessary for individuals, especially diabetics. Occupations can get in the way with that. Budget, big one. Support system. Who do you have around you? If you have people around you that are going to be supportive, it's going to be a hell of a lot easier to incorporate this specialized diet into your daily life and be successful and stay with it. The vast, like the 90%, some stupid number of people who fail at a diet. They'll do it for 6 months and then they go right back to eating and actually gain more weight most times. Okay. So that's why I'm not a huge proponent of a specific diet. Change one thing. Change one thing in your diet. Okay. Let's say you love to drink, Dr. Pepper. You love to drink like 7 of them a day. I had a patient who drank like 7 a day. She couldn't figure out why she was having issues. Take one thing out. I'm like, don't go cold turkey. You're never going to succeed. Just take one less a day for a week. Remove it again. Take one less the next week. Okay? Have a support system there. Okay? Don't go cold turkey. You want to be successful in the long run, in the long term here. And that's what this class is all about. Overnutrition, undernutrition. Again, we'll talk about this a heck of a lot more when we look at vitamins and minerals, where we look at toxicity, and where we look at deficiency type of syndromes, okay? Diseases, disorders, all that fun stuff, all right? Alcohol and drug addiction play a part in this overnutrition, undernutrition. Various different, medical conditions can play into this overnutrition and undernutrition. We'll hint at some of it, okay? We're not going to dive too deep into all of this. Various different diseases and disorders. Okay? But again, your health status does have a huge effect on what you can eat, what you can't eat, or what you should not eat, and what you may be deficient in and what you may need to do more of or less of. The last thing, we learn so much. Okay? And unfortunately, you will see something in the news, okay? In the newspaper. It'll be the newest, study that says, coffee is now going to cause you cancer. Okay? Don't believe everything that you read. One study by itself is not telling you it's the direct cause for something. Looking at the totality of all the information out there, that's what you need to do. Looking at dietary practices have changed a ton. In the 80s, it was low fat, low fat, low fat, low fat. And that was really one of the worst things that we could have done to us. Because from that, started eating a hell of a lot more carbs. And you started to see a lot of different things start to develop with individuals who took out all the fat from their diet. Not good. And throughout the class, I have a bunch of different fantastic research articles that I'll make reference to. And when certain ones pop up, we'll discuss them. If you guys find one, please throw it out there. Okay? Throw it out there. There's a lot of cool stuff when it comes to research and nutrition.